That is a automatic gate opener for my storage facility. It was built in 1998.
Yeah, no.
So that stuff's 26 years old.
Um,
Yeah, literally, because when I Google up these parts and pieces, you can't find them.
Wow. I don't know what.
Yeah, so all weekend I spent trying to troubleshoot that. I think it's a transformer, but not.
I have never had allergies in my life, and they've only been one test there for a while.
You heard what?
I've never had allergies in my life.
Oh.
And I had one about
Mhm.
a few months ever since then.
Exactly.
So
Okay. We're green. Green, good for go. Okay. Council meeting for September 9th, 2024 at 7 PM has begun. Can I get roll call?
Mayor Candace Machado. Here. Councilmember Daisha Edwards advised that she is running late. Councilmember Greg Lustig.
Here.
Councilmember Phil Gerke.
Here.
Councilmember Alana Vino.
Here.
Town Attorney Scott Murray.
Here.
Town Engineer Shane Porter.
Here.
Town Treasurer Lexi Erickson.
Here.
Chief of Police Mike Thompson.
Here.
Fire Chief Leo Molson.
Here.
Public Works Director Robert Llewellyn.
Here.
Town Clerk Janelle Underground listed citizens. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Approval of agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes for the approval of the agenda. Line item 1, consent agenda. A, approval of minutes for regular meeting August 26, 2024, and B, approval of the bills. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Public comments from the audience. Comments, questions, quandaries of the mind? All right, no comments. Moving forward, line item 3, ordinance number 13-2024, an ordinance establishing governing body salary on second reading.
Madam Mayor and Council, brought before you tonight is ordinance 13-2024. This is an ordinance establishing the salaries for the governing body of the town of Evansville, Wyoming. It was brought before you on first reading and passed on August 26, 2024, brought before you tonight for second reading.
Do we have discussion?
I just got one comment. And I know it's probably gonna be too late for this one, but if you take what a dollar was worth in 2002 and what it's worth today, that 150 should be $262.50. So I think that someplace along the line, we probably need to approach the legislature or whoever the governing body is that handles that. And that needs to be raised. I mean, that's from 22 years ago. That's a long time. And I'm sure the legislatures had raises since then.
Scott, you might have addressed this, or maybe I've forgotten, but I feel like you had mentioned the last time that was potentially looked at from a state statute standpoint. Was that 20 years ago, or
Let's see,
that they had looked at that?
22
or
is 2002 is the last time that it was.
2002?
I was pretty sure that was right.
Statute increase. Okay.
Might be a good conversation to have with WHAM, to
So-
see if they would lobby.
Okay.
I know at one point we talked about putting in there if the state decided to change it, that it would automatically change ours and then we wouldn't have to go back in and re-vote.
So, and And I gave that some consideration, but then I looked at the language of the statute, and I still think that even if the legislature were to change it, the town governing body would still have to enact something. You would still have to take inaction because you or the governing body is the one that has to implement it.
Okay.
And so if we look at the fact that the last time that it was done 20 years ago, if the board has to take action every 15 or 20 years or whatever, it doesn't, I don't think we would gain very much by having that language be attached directly to state statute.
Don't you think too, Scott, the way that when I was reading through that, because I thought that was a good suggestion that Greg had made, but it almost sounded like if you are already on the council until the next election, that even if those were raised until you'd actually been elected again, it wouldn't apply anyway.
That's right.
Correct? That's correct, isn't it?
If you vote on it, it doesn't apply to your current term. It would only apply to your next term after a reelection.
Any other questions, thoughts?
Nope.
Nope, that was the only one I
I mean,
was
we can
curious.
absolutely contact WAM and discuss the legislation piece and at least start having a conversation since this hasn't been addressed since 2002. We have over 2 decades of not having anything be changed, which is kind of an area that's technically out of our hands at this point.
Yep.
Per the state statute, but
Right.
it definitely begs the question of, let's start having a discussion with them to see if there's something that we can't do for the future. I think that's a great idea. Okay. If there's no additional discussion, do I have a motion to approve ordinance number 13-2024, an ordinance establishing governing body salary on second reading?
I so moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion or any opposed to that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes on second reading. Line item 4, volunteers needed for the park project. You can jump in at any time if you want to. We originally placed this on the agenda because we did get a solidified date for when we have to start having volunteers for the park project. That's September 23rd, the week of September 23rd, and it will go for 6 weeks. And it'll be Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, is that correct? Okay. And so we are asking for, we're currently looking at finding volunteers to help out during that 6-week period. But we are also asking for any residents who would like to be a part of the initial stages of the build and helping out, volunteering their time. We are asking for any residents or anybody who'd be interested in that to contact the town so that we can start making a list of volunteers that would like to help out in that 6-week period. And
Now-
again, it starts September 23rd and it will go for 6 weeks.
Just contact town hall. Okay.
Yeah, to contact town hall. And we will be putting information out on the digital board as well, along with social media as well to try to get some more information. But we just literally got the information within last
A
week.
week ago. Yep.
Can we
Yeah.
put it on the water bills, the next one? I mean, I know it would only be for a couple weeks. That we'd still be in that 6 weeks process, but if we could put it on there at least,
And
I
this
mean,
bills
it might
will
be
go
for a
out
couple weeks.
The 1st, I think the 1st is a weekday.
And we've reached out so far, we've reached out to Surf Wyoming and Volunteers of America, and technically we've been playing phone tag since we found out the time frame. We've been playing phone tag right now and trying to get them to solidify which volunteers and how many we can establish. And the fire department, the police department, and public works have all said that they would be obviously willing to assist and help out where they can as well.
Yeah.
And I'd highly encourage the council, if you'd like to help out, you're more than welcome. No pressure though, but you're more than welcome to volunteer if you'd like.
Is there specific tools that people should bring or just themselves and the tools are provided, or?
Mr. Porter, I'm gonna look at you for that guidance.
The contractor's supposed to be providing all the tools.
Okay,
It might be that we get into it and see that we might need another impact gun or just something. It might turn out that we need some, but he's supposed to be providing enough to get the work done. So
Okay.
we'll see if we're short, but.
Have you thought about like reaching out to like the college and maybe the high schools about people that are like in shop classes and things like that possibly?
So I know that, Chief, I know that you had brought that up in an email recently in regards to that. It's not a bad idea. We can definitely see who we can focus on in those arenas. Chief, any thoughts on that? I know you thought about that in email.
We also reached out to Serve Wyoming, waiting on a phone call back from them. And Volunteers America, I think we reached out to them. We're at a strike so far.
And we're still looking between 20 and 30 volunteers at this
And-
point.
The other thing I thought about was,
per day?
I don't know, we aren't a big union town, but maybe there's a union out there that's got apprentices or whatever. Maybe some things like that.
One of the officers is gonna reach out to the Elks Lodge that he's a member of. I think on the 18th, he said, visit with them, see if anybody there would consider volunteering as well.
Okay, because if you're not starting until September 23rd and it takes 6 weeks, you could be working in the snow.
Mr. Porter, didn't you say that the first cold was coming that same week
I
of
think the
September
prediction,
23rd?
I think Don Day's prediction was September 23rd for the first.
Yeah.
So that's the Farmer's Almanac is what said
Or
that.
maybe that is.
And then Don Day said today that this is gonna be a cold, snowy winter, so.
So it's gonna get interesting.
So you said 20, 30 people a day is what is needed?
Ideally, in the 15 to 20 is kind of what they indicate. The more we can get, the better it'll
The
be.
quicker we can get it
You know,
done.
they're used to building these. When they do these community builds, they say it's usually 100 to 150 people, and they can knock it out in a week. So he knows that, that was never on the table, that we could gather that many for a week. So, a 20 plus what the contractor is going to provide would probably give us in that 30, and that's where he's estimating the 6-week build out. So the more the better. I mean, if we can get it done in 4 weeks, because we got a lot of people, that'd be wonderful.
Because I know the Rotary built the one in Casper, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Now, this would just encompass the playground construction or the fence and, or
Everything that's left. So
Everything
the
that's-
playground equipment, all the lumber, the
Benches.
fencing that's around it, it's all part of the same wood structures that the playground equipment is. So it's building everything that's left, the fence and the equipment and all the playground structures, everything.
Because if they need an extra foreman, I'll be there.
and of course, yeah, we should reach out to civic groups and court ordered community service and get them busy.
So if any of the council members, if you guys have any suggestions, go ahead and reach out to folks that you know. At this point, we're just playing phone tag with a lot of people right now, trying to get people to call us back. And unfortunately, like we just found out about the date that we would actually officially start, because you can't ask for volunteers if you don't know
Yeah.
dates, times, all that good stuff, the details that they need. So just go ahead and let Janelle or myself or Mr. Porter know who you guys have coming. And then we just have to have everybody fill out a liability of release form when they are volunteering for the town. Line item 5, engineers report. Mr. Porter.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and Council. So just had a couple of things tonight that are in my packet. I have on the Lathrop Pathway Project, I have draw request number 11. Draw request number 11 includes Crown Construction's pay request number 4 and WLC invoices for the construction engineering. The total of all the invoices is $133,808.84. The grant covers 80%, so the total draw request is $107,047.07. This leaves a remaining balance of the grant of $180,600.71. So just recommend a motion to have the mayor sign and submit draw request number 11 for reimbursement.
Do I have a motion to approve pay request number 11?
I move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
The last thing is the pay application for the park project. The total of this pay request is $289,666.45. And this is for the remaining materials and mobilization for Playgrounds by Leathers. There's a company that did the design, and they're coming up to manage the build. So it's mobilization for them, and they'll be here on the 23rd. So we're holding 5% retainage. So the total retainage on this pay request is $14,483.32, and the total amount due is $275,183.13. So recommend a motion to pay installation and services company for pay request number 4 on the park project.
Do I have a motion to approve pay request number 4?
I'll motion.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
No,
Motion passes.
And that's all I have.
Do I have a motion to approve the engineer's report?
I'll motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Line item 6, public comments from the audience. Hello, sir.
Madam Mayor, council, staff. My name is Fred Rogie, and I would like to ask Chief Thompson and Chief Melson to join me up here, please.
Wide berth.
I'm getting some weird looks.
So day after tomorrow is September 11th, and everyone knows what day that is. 23 years ago is when the Twin Towers were struck. An hour and 42 minutes after the planes hit the tower, they fell. And it only took 10 seconds for the towers to hit the ground. On that day, there were 2,753 people who died as a result of the towers. 184 people died in the Pentagon, and 40 people died on United Airlines Flight 93. There were also 19 terrorists killed, but we won't worry about them. So the total deaths on September 11th was just under 3,000. An additional 6,000 people or more were injured as a result of that, bringing everything to around 9,000. So the reason I mention this is because the Evansville police officers, firefighters, EMS personnel, the emergency responders, and their staffs risk their lives every day for us. When they put on their uniform and go to work, there is no guarantee that they will safely return to their families. Evansville may not be a high-risk community, but there is still a risk. Every call that a police officer responds to is a risk. Every call that our fire department personnel respond to is a risk. I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge these special people in our lives and to say thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred.
thanks for that.
Thanks, thank you.
Thank you for the kind words.
My pleasure.
Do I have any additional comments? Thoughts, concerns? Okay. Public comments closed. Line item 7. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We're adjourning at 7:18 PM.
So the letter says that we start at 1 on September 17th, but it doesn't say what time to start that.